People, we're gonna have some fun. Okay, we're excited to be here. I'm Spencer Dent. We're gonna start. I'll introduce myself, but you guys should scan this QR code, fill out the quick survey. We're gonna do a little interactive thing here. You're gonna tell us the state of win-loss at your organization, and we're gonna randomly choose 3 folks to get a set of Bose headphones. So we're going to give out $3,000 of headphones, or a grand of headphones, 3 sets of headphones right now. So while you guys are doing that, I'll tell you a little bit about myself because that's kind of the boring part. So I'm cool with you being distracted while you do it. My name's Spencer Dent, like a dent in a car. My background is I went to graduate school at Duke University. I worked at Bain & Company doing go-to-market and Salesforce effectiveness projects for several years. Made a lot of PowerPoint slides in my time there, and worked on some really cool, interesting things. And then I joined Qualtrics in 2013, was there for almost 4 years. At the time, and while I was there at that software company, I saw them go from about 300 employees to about 1,800 employees, about $50 million in run rate revenue to about $500 million in run rate revenue, and worked in a handful of roles. And that's where I met Andrew Peterson. And what was interesting is working at Qualtrics. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with them. They are a feedback software company. Guess what? We didn't know why we won and lost deals. Isn't that ironic? And so we ended up starting this company a few years ago. We have really been very successful and blessed as a pretty small company, starting from nothing. Our clients include Salesforce, Twilio, Qualtrics, Tableau. I can't even name them anymore. We're at about 75 companies. Most of our clients are software companies, but we also work with other B2B service organizations and providers. So I'll tell you a little bit more about what we do. Have you guys had a chance to do this? All right, Braden, read us off our answers. How do we do on answer number 1? What are people excited for this fall?
You know, I thought more people would have said they were excited for the Pats since the Red Sox are already out of the playoffs, but that didn't win. People are most excited about the autumn leaves.
Okay, here we go.
It's a little weird, but
I like it. It's beautiful. The problem is Braden and I are from Utah, where it's kind of a desert. I don't know if you guys knew that, so we're not used to leaves. This is shocking for us. Okay, what do we get on number 2?
So the state of win-loss analysis at my company, I think someone somewhere is doing something.
What percentage of people said that?
At least 50%.
Okay. You guys, have you, so a lot of you are experiencing this, right? Where I think someone somewhere sent a survey. I think someone somewhere did some interviews. Okay? And then read us off 3 names. If your name is read off, come and talk to Braden after our presentation, and we'll get you your headphones. So go.
So the first one is the letter Z. I really hope that person exists. Then we have Rufio with 4 O's.
Rufio? Where's Rufio? All right, Rufio. All right. Little hook reference. Or is that your actual name?
Oh, that's from, what's it called?
Yeah, I like it. Okay. Rufio. Oh, okay. Who's number 3?
And then our last one is Margaret P.
Okay, Margaret P. All right,
Come
Margaret,
see me afterward.
Z, and Rufio. Okay, you guys come see Braden, this handsome gentleman in the back corner. Okay. Let's jump into win-loss. The goal here is to be very educational and give you guys some thoughts and things to think about as you go after win-loss. What is win-loss analysis? It's one of those things that can be pretty nebulous when you think about it. We view it as the systematic practice of understanding why you win and lose deals. Are you systematically in your organization, do you have a good enough pulse on the front line as to why you're winning and losing deals? If you do this right, it's going to help you confirm, prioritize, and uncover the most important things you should be working on. And what it leads to is you get a better product strategy, you improve your marketing effectiveness, you boost sales productivity, and one of the most important things is you get everybody aligned and marching in the same direction about how you should go after your market. And when I think about this from product marketing, like this is the intersection of everything that you're doing. We are trying to take a product to market and where is it landing and not landing. So we're going to give you guys some tips for thinking about this, okay? The first one is acknowledge what's at stake. There's so much that product marketers get asked to go do. Nothing is more powerful and strategic than figuring out why you're winning and losing deals and going and addressing those things. It's where the rubber meets the road. Think about how much time, effort, and money is being spent building your product, marketing your product, selling your product. And it all comes down to, are we ringing the cash register or not? It's critical to your business. One of the things that's most interesting here, how many of you have been sitting in a room and there's the one person that always brings up the same anecdote? Like, how freaking aggravating is that? I remember sitting in a room every week and having the VP of engineering talk crap about the one deal that we lost because the sales guy dropped the ball and saying it's not a product issue. And I remember the sales guys in a similar meeting every week talking about why we were losing because we were missing 2 key features, right? But always relying on the same 2 deals, okay? You need to understand what's happening. You need to understand what's happening across deals. Relying on conjecture, assumptions, anecdotes, and that one anecdote is just paralyzing to your ability to grow and continue to progress as an organization. There's a cool quote down here. You guys can get this deck later. I'm not just going to read quotes all day to you. Hopefully, this is engaging enough. Secure executive sponsorship. Okay, let's go back to our question. A lot of you are just confirmed that somebody somewhere is doing this. Is it a broad organizational-wide objective and project and program running, or is it being done in silos? Okay? Are we trying to understand why we win and lose in silos? How well is that shared? The best programs that we deliver and have seen have buy-in across the executive team. And the reason why is when you do win-loss, everybody's impacted. Because we'll come back and we'll go interview a buyer, and the buyer will say, well, your pricing model sucks. It doesn't make sense. Or the product was missing these key features. The product was hard to use. It didn't make sense. The look and feel felt old and the workflow was off. Or the sales rep didn't follow back up with me. Or they'll say all of those things. Right? So it doesn't just affect one person. And most often, the most logical place for this to sit is in product marketing, because you guys are at the intersection of sales, marketing, and product. So you get the right people bought into this. Oftentimes you can pull budgets across teams. You can pull resources. You can pull people across teams to help work on it. But it's a coordinated effort. Okay? Get started. The other day, I had a phone call with a client of ours who they spent 6 months building a post-deal survey with, it was pure mad scientist like logic. If they say this, then ask this. If they say this, then ask this. If they say this, and then ask. And then they launched it and got a 1% participation rate, right? Start out with the simple stuff, right? Start small. If you aren't doing anything right now, figure out a really effective way to engage your sales team. Or think about sending a really brief survey to your buyers. Or just go straight and engage a third party to help you learn how to interview and engage buyers. Okay? I love this quote from one of our clients, Sanjay at Avalara. we did a webinar with him, and what he said is, if you're thinking about doing this, just start the damn program. Just go. Because the reality is good win-loss is evolving as well. So it's never going to be perfect, and you're going to start out by interviewing, understanding what's happening, and and your business will change over time too. So thinking that it's something you set and forget you're flawed from the get-go. The fourth thing here, get feedback directly from your buyers. So one thing Anthony mentioned was pragmatic marketing. The other thing he mentioned that's really important was that sometimes salespeople are really, really busy. Pragmatic marketing did a study, and what they found is that sales reps are wrong 60% of the time as to why they won or lost a deal. That is bad, right? What they found is 30% of the time, 32% of the time, they are completely airballing. They're totally wrong. The other 20% of the 28% of the time, they're partially wrong. Okay? Why is that? Why do you guys think sales reps are wrong? Yeah, a couple things. They don't know because the buyer didn't tell them. They don't know or they're wrong because the buyer lied to them. You don't want to tell somebody that, hey, listen, the reason I didn't go with you is because you were really, you didn't know what you were talking about and couldn't answer my questions during the demo. Right? And also, the sales reps are professional influencers, guys. They're really good at what they do. So they're good at what they decide to share and not share when they come back to the organization, okay? So you want to go straight to the buyers. Now, they're the richest source of feedback. How you engage them is really important. If you try to survey your buyers, just know that B2B executives and B2B decision makers don't have a lot of time, okay? They're not going to sit down for 30 minutes and fill out your 20-question survey. They're just not going to do it. If you get a 3% participation rate on your 20-question survey, you are an MVP all-star, okay? If you are going to survey them, we're happy to give you guys some ideas of best practices, but if you are going to send an electronic survey, email-based survey on Qualtrics or a tool like that, 3 questions or less, okay? You are going to think about it as the objective there is to go an inch deep and a mile wide, okay? Now, if you really want to talk to them, the best source is to go do buyer interviews. That's where you get the richest feedback. And what's funny is they will participate at 10x the rate based off of our experience in an interview, right? When you say, hey, especially when you engage a third party. We hired a third party because we value your feedback and we want to hear why you chose to go with us or not go with us. They will participate at a much higher rate. I love this quote from Bob Apollo. Asking the sales organization to self-report on wins and losses is as insightful as asking turkeys whether they might be inclined to vote for Christmas. Right? So you want to go to the buyers. How you do that, there's different options. Frankly, some organizations, the mix and how you go about this versus different channels of a survey versus an interview may depend on your organization, okay? If you're doing bigger deals, and I'm going to define bigger deals as anything over 10K, anything where somebody's spending multiple sessions with you evaluating your tool, multiple months, you should think about interviews, okay? This is a great quote from a client of ours, Ryan Smith. They were trying to do interviews internally, and this is what he found. Win-loss gives us quick, actionable insights into our product, sales process, pricing, and packaging, and other critical elements of our business that we use to make strategic decisions. Because it's an external company, the results tend to be more objective than previous efforts to do this internally. The insights are also deeper than what we were previously able to get. The real benefit of using a third party is they will share and they will be much more candid with a third party. The other real benefit of that is it makes it easier for your organization to ingest that feedback, okay? How many of you have ever, let's go back to the boardroom example. How many of you have ever sat in a meeting where the sales team is blaming the product team for why they lost. You ever seen that? Right? And the product team's like double birding them, like, screw you. You know, like I've been on the calls with your sales guys. They don't even know our product. They don't even know what it does. Like, why? Like, our product does do that. He just doesn't know how to sell. Right? Well, it's really powerful when you cut through that and you say, and you have a quote from the buyer that says, the sales rep wasn't really able to answer my questions, and it was confusing the way the demo proceeded. They didn't actually demo to the use case that I asked them to demo to. Right? So that's one element that becomes really powerful. Third party helps you get more people to talk, they speak more candidly, and the feedback's ingested more easily into your org. Interesting thing here, let's go back to the anecdotes example. It becomes really powerful. One anecdote is powerful. Anecdotes, quotes are powerful. What's more powerful than that is when you can string a series together. We lost this deal because of pricing and packaging. Here's what the buyer said. They said that our pricing model doesn't really align to value, and it's confusing how it's set up, and it took way too long to understand it. This buyer said our pricing model seems confusing, and they weren't really sure how we arrived at the price that we came to. This buyer said, and when you can add them together, it becomes really powerful. You want to tag and track themes across deals. And because that allows you to also size the price. Which of these should we go work on? Okay, versus flip the boat for one anecdote. Really powerful is recording and transcribe. If you're interviewing buyers, record it and transcribe it. Look, this isn't just me saying this. These aren't my notes. This is what the buyer said. Okay? Also, being able to tag positive and negative things. Do you guys, one of the jokes about how most companies do win-loss is they have a drop-down in their Salesforce. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You have a drop-down in your Salesforce? When a deal's won, you select the reason why it was won. When a deal's lost, you select the reason why it was lost. We have done thousands of interviews at closed. Guess how often everything is positive? Guess how often there's only one reason why you won or one reason why you lost? Never. And guess how often there's only good things to say on wins and only bad things to say on losses? Very rarely. Okay? You're not getting, if you're not getting both sides of the story on both wins and losses, you're not looking at your deals and at your wins and losses and at your business objectively. You're actually fundamentally the way you set it up is wrong. Okay? So think about that, because that allows you to say, you know what, when we lose, we still look good on product. They're still liking our product. They're saying that our product's more advanced. The issue is our pricing model is not allowing them to adopt us at the rate that they want to, for example. Okay? We've developed software that allows our clients to do this. So you can see as the volume of deals that come up and how strong we are positively or negatively, then you can actually go see and what people are saying. And we found that that's powerful because individual debriefs and postmortems are really powerful. When you start to aggregate them up, that's also a different lens, because you can make both very tactical decisions and very strategic decisions based off the win-loss feedback you're getting. Okay? Interpret the results in context. Okay, great win-loss does this. That's super interesting. What does it look like in our enterprise segment? That's super interesting. What does it look like against competitor X? That's super interesting. Are these themes are they different or the same in EMEA versus the Americas? Okay? Being able to put the feedback in context allows you to make sure that you understand this. I was talking to Nalini, one of our clients from Chartbeat, about this, right? And one of their projects, one of the programs we ran for them, being able to have this visibility to say, no, this is coming up consistently, or this is only coming up in a pocket, right? Helps you be very strategic about how you move forward. So apply the right context. Be careful to overweight one deal. Be careful to underweight a handful of deals. It's really one of the things that's interesting is to go look and see what the themes look like on wins versus losses. My recipe on wins look like this. When I win, it's because of X, Y, and Z. When I lose, it's because of A, B, and C. Right? Super interesting to be able to do that. Next thing here, sharing it out. Okay. There is a tendency that people have in organizations to hold their cards close to their chests and to want to repackage everything and turn it into their own presentations so that they can look like they're doing a lot of work. Okay? That happens a lot in win-loss, and it is absolutely the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is be a channel and a conduit for the rest of your organization to get this information. So when it comes to win-loss, be transparent with the findings. Share interviews. Share transcripts. Even if they are controversial, especially if they are, because it's the buyer that said it. Okay? One of the worst things I've seen, and worst things I've seen companies do that it's like slamming the brakes on their own progress, is they get great buyer feedback, and then it sits on somebody's desktop in a PowerPoint presentation instead of being shared out broadly across the org. One of the best things that companies do is every time an interview is done, you drip it out to stakeholders. You push the insights to specific functions. Hey, here's what we're hearing about product. Here's what we're hearing about our messaging. Here's what we're hearing about our sales process. And you share this periodically with the right audiences. Okay? But the more you hold tight, the exact question we asked, right? Somebody somewhere is doing something, right? The amount of waste that exists in organizations, because there's people in product that are trying to figure out why you win and lose. There's people in sales that are trying to figure out why you win and lose. There's people in product marketing that are trying to figure out why you win and lose. How much redundant effort is going on right now, guys, in your org? Think about that. A lot of people nodding their heads. The more you share, the more you get momentum around that single effort, and the more you can build it. Okay? The last piece here, calibrate and expand over time. And this one's good because the best win-loss programs evolve. What that means is you get very specific and precise about what you're trying to answer. So you start out just by, hey, let's go do some win-loss interviews. Let's go get a baseline sense of what we're hearing. Okay. Now I want to focus the next set of interviews I'm doing against all the deals against a specific competitor. They came up a lot in the initial one, so I'm going to double click there in Q4. I'm also thinking about launching a survey to a group of people. You know, on my mid-market deals, this thing seems to be coming up a lot. I'm going to just drop a survey there, see if it comes up a lot. Okay, now I'm strategically going to change and pivot my focus the next quarter. Okay, I feel like I have a good sense of why we're winning and losing against this competitor. We just launched this new product line, and it feels like it's struggling to get traction. I'm going to go interview some of those buyers. We are struggling to move upstream. Our enterprise deals just like our win rate's much lower. Why is that? I want to go figure out what's different in that space of my market. Okay? The more you calibrate and expand it over time, the better you're going to be. Our most successful clients are very strategic about how they deploy us as an interviewing service and surveying service. Okay? And they're the ones that end up doing much more with us as well because they get value from understanding different pockets of their business. There's a ton here. Happy we're gonna be here later today and tomorrow. If you want, you guys can download this win-loss guide. It's kind of a best practice that covers a lot of the things that we've talked about. Here's some different resources that you can go to. We've got a couple minutes right now. Any questions for me? Good.
So one of the challenges we face at our company is when we want to do win-loss is that the sales team thinks that we're out to get them.
Yes. Yeah.
How do we overcome that?
It's a great question. Sales can crush these programs, right? If they feel like it's a witch hunt, you have a problem. The best way to overcome it is up front with the sales team of saying, we're here to help you. We want you involved, and we are going to share with you all the feedback. So the best programs we see are actually driven and eventually almost become entirely funded by sales. Because the sales team says, a good salesperson wants to know why they win and lose because they want to make more money, right? They're focused on how do I crush my quota. And so the more you involve them up front and say, hey, listen, we're going to go out, we're going to reach out to accounts. What types of deals do you feel like you guys need the most understanding about why you win and lose? Okay, we're going to ask some questions about the sales process to see what we can improve and how we can better enable you. What are some of the things that you would want to know about the sales process? About do you want us to ask questions about demos? Do you want us to ask questions about partners if we're selling through partners, or about the knowledge of the sales team, etc.? The more they're involved up front in helping design, what you ask and who you ask it to, the more when it comes back they love it. Because especially when you share a transcript back with a rep and with their leader, there's not a more powerful coaching tool for a sales rep than, hey, this is what the buyer said. The other element is do wins and losses, right? When you do wins, have you guys ever noticed that sales reps, when they win a deal, they'll write a 40-page on how amazing they were, right? And when they get a loss, they're like, buyer stopped responding. The more you share the wins back to and use that to gain momentum, the better off you'll be. And be transparent. They will get upset, and rightfully so, if they feel like it is some clandestine search to get them in trouble, right? Versus, hey, this is a program. We interview. We share the feedback back. It's wide open. It's transparent, okay? Here's a data point I'll give you. In the thousands of interviews we've done, there's only 2 times that I'm aware of where a sales rep actually got fired because of what we found in an interview, and they should have been fired. But literally, we're talking 0.002%. Okay. Good.
Anybody else for Spencer? Thank you so much, Spencer.
Thanks, guys.
Great work.